Very much, Miranda. For more on all of this, we're pleased to be joined by the former House Majority Leader, the gentleman from Texas, my old colleague on Capitol Hill, Tom DeLay. And Tom Skypes in tonight from the Lone Star State. So, Tom, Congress will work its oversight. Oversight's not the problem. It's the Obama administration willfully overlooking or instructing our law enforcement officials at the federal level to look the other way. Why does that go on? Is it political correctness or is it willful blindness?
Well, JD, it's great to see you, but I got to tell you, this is just some more of Obama's leading from behind. And now we're seeing what the destruction that he is heaping on the FBI, one of the most prestigious institutions in this country. You can go back and talk about Comey not charging Hillary Clinton, but elections have consequences, and these agencies take their directions from the President of the United States, whether directly or indirectly. And these agencies know that if they stick their neck out and they're aggressive and they go after these lone wolves in an aggressive manner, this administration will pull them back. You talked about the political correctness. That is folding into the mindset and the morale of the FBI, and the results is what we're getting. This is just going to get worse and worse and more dangerous.
Well, Tom, the president doesn't seem to think it's much of a problem. In fact, yesterday, speaking to the UN General Assembly, he basically took time out for a domestic political attack. Let's look and listen.
Together with a global economy that depends on a global supply chains, makes it self-defeating ultimately for those who seek to reverse this progress. Today, a nation ringed by walls would only imprison itself. So the answer cannot be a simple rejection of global integration.
So there he is again. Yes to globalization and an attack on Donald Trump, though not by name.
The true Obama emerges. I got to tell you, this is what he's always been about. I have said it and said it publicly, and I've said it proudly. This president is a Marxist. He believes in globalization. He believes in world order. He is a socialist from the get-go, and we're getting what we deserve because we made him president of the United States.
Well, I don't know that right-minded Americans deserve what we're seeing in terms of the abuse of immigration. We reported yesterday the Department of Homeland Security wrongly granted citizenship to 858 criminal illegals. Then CNN reported that there are an additional 950 illegals wrongly granted citizenship. The administration says it was an accident. Accidentally on purpose seems more likely the case, Tom.
How can giving citizenship to 2,000 people that should have been deported an accident? It's called incompetence. This administration is rife with incompetence. I tell you, this president now is working on his legacy. He gave a speech to the Congressional Black Caucus all about his legacy and how they need to support his legacy. His legacy is going to go down as the worst president that has ever served this nation, because it's just, and when we start really finding out what's going on and what has been going on as the years go by, we're going to be disgusted even more. This is just, January can't come too fast for me, that's for sure.
Well, before we get to January 20th, you've got Election Day in November, and there are still concerns about voter fraud. The Hill is not exactly a right-leaning publication, but an article there this morning saying basically if we give up control of the internet, there could be real problems with our presidential election. Our old colleague and former House Intelligence Committee Chairman Pete Hoekstra had this to say to us here at Newsmax TV. Pete spoke about the risks of voter fraud and the Obama administration's decision to give up control of the internet, calling it patently dangerous. Tom, is there anything else we can use to describe it?
It's patently dangerous. boggles my mind that we would give up the control of the internet of all things. Now, I'm pretty ignorant on these kinds of things. I can barely turn on my own computer, but I know that whatever agreement has been made by this administration is not going to benefit the United States, and it's not going to benefit the American people. So we have got to find a way to put this off until the next president is put into office. We cannot allow one of the most important institutions now in our society to be given over to some floating around fairy-like board somewhere.
And you know, the other thing, Tom, it's the timing. Now, you and I used to talk, and I think we can share it with those looking in. We used to think that if you really wanted to affect the elections, tax returns, forget April 15th, have them October 15th, then Americans paying their taxes would go, gee, who's raising my taxes? And it could be a political argument to make in November. But to have the international community take over the internet in late October, just prior to the first week in November, man, the timing of this is really suspect.
It really is, and Congress has got to do something about it. I know their hands are pretty much tied. No matter what they do, the president will veto it. But this is really serious stuff that we're talking about here, and we've got to head it off quickly, because they're going to hand over the internet on September the 30th if we don't do something about it.
In just a few short weeks between then and our election day. Tom DeLay, tonight from the Lone Star State. Tom, we really appreciate your time here on Newsmax Prime.
I appreciate you, JD.
There's the leader. Worked hard together up on Capitol Hill. A lot of great memories of that. Now, when we continue this program, you are going to see something marking Hillary's one-year anniversary on the campaign trail. I don't know if we can exactly call them highlights, but also ahead on Newsmax Prime tonight, we will take a look at President Obama's so-called accomplishments in office. That is next. My top 10 countdown. Should they really be called accomplishments? You'll be the judge of that. But I can tell you, I use that word with tongue firmly planted in cheek. Mindful of that, do you know how hard it is to say that and more as Newsmax Prime continues? So stay with us on this Wednesday evening.